And this is the hour where me and dumbass Joe DeRosa, who doesn't know where the state of Mississippi is, try to actually become informed on something. I recently got stopped for to get a ticket or whatever. I was driving on the road, and I just want to have there's just a bunch of stuff going on like with the police officers lately. So we just want to actually have an actual police officer in here who was on the job, I don't know how many fucking years, because this is uninformed, and I never even bothered to ask. But we got Lou from the comedy club down the street, which will remain nameless because some of the information we might get from this guy. Lou, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you? How are you?
Great.
You're looking fantastic.
Thank you. You too.
How long were you on the force for?
I did my 20 years.
You did your 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
You had a good time?
I had a great time.
Where did you, where were you a police officer?
Primarily I was a police officer in Queens, but when I got promoted to sergeant, I did the rest of my time in Midtown Manhattan.
Oh, yeah? When cops, did you ever watch, like, Fort Apache, The Bronx, and just be like, this is bullshit? Like, this never happened? Like, when you watch cop movies, are you like, these are ridiculous? It wouldn't go down like that?
No, not really, because some of them are well-researched. It's just they squeeze everything together in 2 hours or an hour segment, and that's the only thing that I really find really ridiculous about certain things. Just too much squeezed into a 2-hour movie or a 1-hour television program.
Just combining the things. How about the way they handle their guns?
The cops in movie depictions or television depictions always appear to be expert marksmen when we know that's not true.
What is some of the craziest stuff that you saw in 20 years of being out there?
I've seen a person's arm twisted around so many times in the handcuffs it looked like he had 2 left arms. On drugs, not feeling it, just twisted around so many times at the shoulder, and like cops will run into the lounge in the precinct or run out. You got to see this. And then you're looking, well, what am I looking at? You're looking at 2 left hands. The arm is twisted around so much.
So what, the guy's so high he's trying to get out of the handcuffs?
Or he scuffled with the police or got in a fight and they just twisted his arm around and he doesn't even know that his arm has been twisted around, at the shoulder. I always thought that was pretty strange. And also a woman who was
yeah, strange would be a good word. Yeah. That's sort of odd.
A woman who was...
A woman who was what?
She was lactating. And she was under arrest. She took out her breast and she squirted mother's milk at the lieutenant behind the desk. That's pretty odd. No one ever sees that. She actually was able to...
Did you see it starting to happen and you dove over like, no?
I let it. I didn't even... I wanted to see it. No one liked the lieutenant anyway. And he got squirted with mother's milk, which is, people find these stories really unbelievable, but there's always 19 cops standing right there, and most of them are still alive.
What's the rank you have to get to before you're like Richard Belzer? Just in the suit, like going around, like doing that shit all day. What is that rank?
Well, he's probably a first grade detective. He's assigned to SUV, the Special Victims Unit, and SVU. I'm sorry, and you usually get that rank 2 ways, either through politics,
right,
or through some type of hard work. That detective rank, you don't have to take a civil service test like you have to for the ranks of sergeant, lieutenant, and captain. You either get it on merit, or you did something great, and or politics. Somebody, you get the great unit, and you get promoted to detective. It's pretty prestigious, also, to be a first grade detective.
What's the best way to get out of a ticket? I get pulled over a lot, and I've tried to do like the honesty thing. And that worked for me for a while. And I would actually admit, I pulled you over? Yeah, because I was speeding. And a lot of times they would just let me go. And then I ran into this one guy when I was in Buffalo. And he goes, you know why I pulled you over? I go, yeah, because I was speeding. He goes, you have any idea how fast you're going? I'm like, I don't know, 65. He goes, yeah, this is like a 30 or a 35 or something like that. Then when he took my license, he goes, is this your current address? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, how long have you lived in a new address? And I knew what the penalty was, but I said, I don't know, about 8 months. And the douche came back and he wrote me a ticket for both things, which I think went above and beyond. I want to ask you, as a citizen, if I don't yell it at him, can I just still yell cunt, sort of like at my windshield? Can I do that? I mean, what ends up happening there?
I think you're just better off being quiet and taking the ticket.
Oh, absolutely, I know that, but I was just really wanted to just yell cunt.
I always wondered that too. What are you allowed to yell out, like, without it being
like, what exactly is insulting an officer like that charges?
Well, looking like the way you do, Bill, No one's going to care if you get shot 30 times.
What do you mean? I look like Howdy Doody.
Exactly. No one's going to care when they show your high school picture. No one's going to care looking the way you do.
Well, this is, you know what the
we
thing
got
is?
plenty of guys like you around here.
Can I ask you, like, at what age do I have to be before I can actually sit there and go, what is your badge number, without just getting the shit kicked out of me? Because you can't do that in your 20s with, like, a baseball cap on backwards. I mean, aren't you just going to, get your head slammed off the pavement, then he just tells the judge, I felt threatened. Then you got a felony, and then hopefully your dad has some sort of political position and can get you out of it.
I'd feel safer questioning a cop in New York City about anything than I would questioning a cop in someplace like Buffalo.
Oh, really?
In Buffalo, they're going to get away with a lot more, less politics. It's not really like New York City, a liberal city. And the cops are probably backed a lot more. So if the cop, smacks the shit out of you, like I said, looking the way
I'll
you
end
look,
up getting busted
no one's going to care. Just better off take the ticket and walk away.
That's so true, dude, because I went to college I went to Kutztown University in Pennsylvania, and it's this little bumfuck town in the middle of, like, Amish country, basically, in Pennsylvania. And, the town itself is probably 2 miles long, and the entire police force and the one judge in the town were completely in cahoots with the university. And the university, when they cracked down on student partying, they went right to the police force. The police would come through. They were doing so much shit that was just completely illegal. Like, they were literally, like, they'd look through peepholes in your door to try to see what was going on in your apartment before they came in, which is completely illegal. But there was nothing you could do. They'd look through the people. They'd
could have
get
put
shit.
hockey tape over the fucking door hole.
I was high half the time. I didn't, I wasn't that inventive.
There was nothing you could do. There were these peepholes, and I didn't have anything that you couldn't see through.
Like it was 1984. Do you have any razor blades? I'm out. But there was you were just fucked, and it was like I remember I got a noise violation at 2:00 in the afternoon for something, and I was just like, what are you, out of your mind? It's 2:00 in the afternoon. And I went to the judge, and they were, in more or less words, they were like, go fuck yourself. There's nothing you can do about this. There's no way you can fight this. You're going to have to pay. And it was, you were helpless, man, like completely helpless, because it was a one-horse town where everybody knew everybody.
And what you're saying is it's easier for that kind of stuff to happen in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, and it happens all the time and you don't hear about it.
I had one time I was doing a college gig in the middle of Colorado, and I drove like an hour in the wrong direction. So I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere in the Rockies, so I start driving back trying to make up. I basically have to drive 2 hours round trip to get back to where the fuck I started to get to this gig. So I'm flying, and all of a sudden this guy in like a Bronco, literally almost coming the other way, almost runs me off the road. And I see like the little blue light on the dashboard. It's one of those things. He's almost like a pizza delivery guy where they can't afford like a real police car, so they use his vehicle. That's probably how he got on the force. He gets out of the car. He doesn't even have the whole cop uniform. He just has his shirt tucked into these Wrangler jeans. And I'm literally sitting there going like, for all I know, this guy isn't a fucking cop. And he comes up and he just punches my window and he's like, get it out! Like yelling about my insurance. And right there, I just want to be like,
now, fuck that, you drive away. No way, dude.
Drive away, dude. That guy probably would have put two in the back of my head. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere.
And nobody would have cared, Bill.
Exactly.
If we were dead.
Looking the way I look.
I was thinking we could take care of this right here.
Yeah.
In Brainerd.
Yeah.
Oh, you're finished. There'd be nothing. You're fucked in that situation.
So there's no way, like, I was wondering, like, so the best thing is just to keep your damn mouth shut, because I just really wanted to say to that guy, like, the guy in like Buffalo where he wrote me the extra ticket for my license, it's like, do you have some sort of like I don't know, policeman ball coming up where you need to raise fucking money or something? You trying to be like top of the month?
Is that true when they say they give out more tickets at the end of the month because they're trying to make the quota?
Absolutely true. We don't call it a quota though. We changed it. We call it productivity goals.
Oh, is that what it is?
We can't use the word.
What's the dumbest
quota.
thing you ever wrote a ticket for? We just like, this is such bullshit.
When I first became a cop, you really want to do the right thing.
Uh-huh.
You really think you can enforce everything, traffic laws, penal law. There used to be a summons: wheels not to curb. So if your wheels didn't face the curb with your parked car, you can get a summons for that. And they wanted our productivity goals were 20 or 25 a month. I would actually go down a whole block and write 25 wheels, not the curb, just to be done.
Just to get it out of the way?
Just to get done. So people, and they actually took it out because it caused a lot of problems. And there was another,
that's like that Al Capone shit, how they finally ended up getting him tax evasion instead of murder.
And then another one was the vehicle is over 12 inches from the curb. And they actually took both of these summonses out, and the cops could no longer be allowed to write them because it would cause trouble. The people would come out and can't believe it, and then it would escalate. It would always, and they look at it. It would spiral and escalate into something it shouldn't. Let's take these out of there because they are, after all, they are really stupid, and we see that. Some cops are forced to make an arrest stemming from a stupid summons. The people would come out, or they'd come, are you kidding me, officer?
Right.
Your tires were not facing the curb. But no one tells you that when you're new.
Right.
You learn. You really learn.
But you had to admit, when you're walking down the street, you're kind of like...
Oh, I know.
Were you laughing? Did you go back to the police house and start cracking up? Well, no, I'm done for the day.
No, I'm done. Then I'm done. It says on the card that I could do that. It says right there. You take your nightstick out, and you know that the car is over 12 inches from the curb, and you just or the wheels are pointing out.
You do the boss hog shit, putting down the fake fire hydrant.
And there is
that's $200 right there.
The police administration will always tell you there's not a quota, but they're full of it, because if a cop is working Monday through Friday with weekends off, somehow that cop always seems to make his quota, his productivity goals, because he has weekends off and he doesn't want to lose that.
Right.
So whatever the police department is saying, you have to do this, is what we want. Some cops resist it, but they end up getting the shitty details and the shitty days off, and that's what happens. The animosity stems from that along the police department, because some guys, we call it prostitute yourself for Saturday and Sunday off.
Would you let a guy out of a ticket if he cried? Because I got out of a ticket like that once.
I have to tell you,
in Virginia.
There are people you stop that you just like immediately.
Okay, this is good shit.
You just like them.
This is good shit.
As soon as you talk, you go, like Bill, looking the way you look, I know I would like you right away.
Okay. What about me?
Yeah, and you too. And you too. Yeah, you too.
Such a need to be. He was adopted.
And that's the key.
Trying to bringing up childhood issues. What about me? How come no one ever loves me?
I got pulled over for a seatbelt violation yesterday when I was driving into the city, and I just got myself like a PBA card. It was my first one ever, but I don't know the protocol.
Yeah,
on how to use that, and it ended up fucking me in the long run, because the guy, I gave him my license without showing him the card. So he goes back into the car, his squad car, and I think he's just going to run my license, run my plates, and then come back. And if he's going to give me a ticket, he's going to come back to my window and give me the ticket. So he comes back with the ticket already filled out, but now I'm holding the card, and he goes, "Why didn't you show me that before?" Like I'm supposed to know. I'm like, I don't get pulled over like all the time.
Yeah, but now you know it. I'm going to tell you, if you have anything like that, break out with it. Don't give him your license.
I felt
break
like it
out
was.
With that
I
stuff.
felt like
that's how you do it. Because I ended up getting one through this show. Actually, the Opie and Anthony show. I ended up getting one of those cards. Now, do those cards work nationally? Is that like, or is it like a gym membership? I got to go to my gym.
Well, you can join an organization called the Fraternal Auto Police (FOP) as an associate member, even if you're a civilian. And those ID cards that you get seem to work better nationally. Because in Florida, most of the cops are sick of New York City cops coming down there and getting drunk and violating, the law, the local, just violating everything. After a while, and a lot of the cops.
Yeah, we saw the gonorrhea stats earlier in the show. Florida's right up there with Mississippi, which Joe now knows is right next to Alabama.
For the first time in my life, I know where Mississippi is, so I can fucking avoid it.
So anyway, you're saying that if you buy, how do I get into this club? How do I buy in? I want in.
Well,
I'm a made guy.
Well, that's like it. Was he Hoffa? Did you ever see the movie Hoffa where he gives Danny DeVito he gives him one of his business cards that says James R. Hoffa on the back. He just writes in pencil, "Give this man anything he wants," and he just fucking he just shows it everywhere,
kind of card I want.
and everybody's like, "Oh!" And they buy it because he couldn't have possibly crafted this on his own. But I always felt like that's what one of those cards would do. Like it would just get you out of any fucking situation that you get pulled over, like why?
Well, let's take it like one step at a time. To get into the fraternal order of police, how you can go on the internet and join.
Well, I would where I live. I would go to the precinct and find out if the local precinct has their own.
Oh God, I got to go talk to somebody.
No, well,
you could
go online also and find which one is close to you, and they'll tell you where to send the money. They send you stickers and a little badge and life insurance. You know, it's and you're an associate.
And you go to a gay club and dress up like a cop.
No,
I know where this is going.
You're an associate member. You're a civilian, but it's a good thing to have. It's not going to give you carte blanche. It's if you were going a little bit too fast. You went through a stop sign.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was going to like the parameters.
Yeah,
you can't break out one of those after you snatched a purse.
I was just going to say,
I got a card.
You can't be standing over a body with 3 bullets in the back of his... Wait.
But I got to tell you, if you did do something that was really severe, and they were going through your ID, and they see it, they won't acknowledge that you have the PVA cards or another police officer's business card. But if you get arrested, they can't let you go, but they will do something like give you your own cell. That is important if you get arrested, especially on the weekend.
Literally, joining one of those could actually prevent you from being raped.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we learned today.
If you get arrested on the weekends, you need to have your own cell. You can rest before arraignment, and you don't have to sleep with your eyes open.
I had no idea how dangerously I've been living all these years.
And looking the way you look on the weekends, you'll be in a giant holding tank with a lot of bears, giant bears, big giant bears.
Steve the bear, is he going to be in there?
Looking the way you look.
And you'll have no sneakers. Your shirt will be gone.
Nothing would make me happier than watching surveillance footage of 6 bears just descending on Burr's asshole.
Me getting mauled.
The joy. It'd be like in Menace to Society. I'd be showing the fucking tape to all my boys. You see the tape? All right, we want to.
How often? Let me ask you. How often does? Because what I've learned through like certain comedians who actually have records and shit, there's a difference between jail and prison. Like jail is just when you go to jail, that's just kind of like is that like when you maybe have a little domestic violence dispute with your girl and they just kind of hold you down at the police station? Is there like a difference? Like I know there's like Leavenworth, there's like hardcore prisons, there's lighter prisons, but is there something that is just sort of like sometimes like guys get arrested and they I was in jail for 3 days and they don't have to go back, like the shit is over. Like what kind of law do you break when you just kind of have like one of those things? Like you hear guys, they've been arrested 38 times and it's like, what happened to 3-time loser? Well, it wasn't a felony, Well,
Rikers Island, you can be held up to a year. And then if the courts deem that you have to be further incarcerated, they'll move you upstate. So, to any Sing Sing, Ossining, Dannemora, Attica, there are tons of places upstate where they would house you if you did something.
But say like if you get into a fight in a bar, right, on 8th Avenue, you fight some other, frat kid because he grabbed your girl's ass, you can't prove it or something, like I'm innocent in this story, right? You beat the shit out of each other, and then you both are pressing charges, whatever. You both get arrested. What kind of jail am I going to? You're not actually going to take me to Rikers, are you?
No.
I'm going to go to.
You'll be at, if it happens in a borough of Manhattan Central Booking, which is downtown, and of course each precinct has a holding cell, right? And basically, if you don't have a record or any warrants, they want to arraign you before a judge, right? And it's like, let's make a deal. If we let you go now, will you come back? If we let you go, you won't get arrested again. If we let you go, do you want to come back with your own attorney? And they have your fingerprints come back, and then they look at your record. If you don't have any, you're going to be out the door. But you can end up in the system, especially, let's say, a Thursday night for 4 days. You can end up between the precinct and Manhattan Central Booking.
Just because it's a busy time?
It's busy on the weekends. And that's another thing. If you know a cop, you can have your arraignment pushed up also, because I've done that.
So basically, the time to sucker punch somebody would probably be a Monday through a Wednesday. is what you're saying.
The best time. Weekends are unbelievable, and plus you have less assistant district attorneys working on the midnight chef.
So what is? Wait, you just said you're gonna end up in a system. What did you just say?
The system.
The system. But what were you?
And Joe, looking the way you do, which is a very reoccurring theme on this.
I think this is a chance.
And you know what, Joe? Nothing would make me feel better to see a half Egyptian getting shipped out to Rikers Island. I just want the footage of your face as you're driving over that bridge by LaGuardia.
When I'm the first Egyptian to be jailed there, and they're all waiting, like it's a new meal on the menu. We ain't never had Egyptian. They just fucking line up to get a taste.
Can you get arrested for like a bar fight and just be such a dick that they end up sending you to Rikers? Like, have you ever seen somebody like who's just throwing gas on the fire, where it's like, dude, you literally would have been the scenario you said, where you would have got arraigned, you would have been out of here in a couple of hours, and next thing you know, you're in a knife fight in like fucking Sing Sing. Like, what's the worst case scenario?
Well, if I arrested a guy and he was a complete asshole, the first thing you do from the scene, you bring him to the hospital, and that's going to add a day, maybe a day and a half to his incarceration. You bring him to the hospital. You think that he's mentally unfit. You're supposed to be the expert as a cop. You can tell if the guy's crazy. You could tell if the guy's hurt. And they really don't want you to bring him to the precinct if he's acting in an irrational manner or he's really hurt. But even if it's on the fence, whether he's crazy or whether he's hurt, you could fuck him by bringing him to the hospital.
But isn't the hospital better than being in with the bears?
And then you
get your own bed?
It adds a day to your time in the system. It's a day later that you'll be arraigned. It's a day later that you'll get to central booking from the hospital.
Oh, I get it. You make him think like you're icing a field goal kicker. You make him sit in the hospital and think about going to jail.
System.
And especially if it's a psycho ward, you have to wait for the shrink to come and evaluate him. And that could take a day. And now he's in a padded cell, awaiting arraignment, and he's not that crazy. And you're fucking him. You were a wise ass. You resisted me putting the handcuff on.
Do you peek in through the little square window and laugh at him?
I have antagonized people on purpose.
You have? Let me hear some of these stories.
I've teased people and antagonized them.
Give us,
Well, I actually had a woman who was tearing her own hair out of her head.
Hilarious.
On the top of
always funny.
Great.
And there was a female sergeant. I was a cop at the time, and she wanted to handle it. After all, she was a woman. And I'm with my partner, and the woman's she's good looking. She has big breasted and panties, tearing the hair out of her head and throwing it at us.
Wait, big breasted and panties? She's not wearing a skirt.
She's wearing panties.
Okay, she's got pants. Let's paint the picture. She got panties on. She's wearing a shirt.
No.
High heels.
No shoes.
No shirt.
Barefoot. Panties, bra, tearing her hair out.
No bra. Bare-breasted.
I think I saw this episode on Cops.
And tearing her hair. She had like a failed relationship or something, and she was tearing her hair out of her head and throwing it at us. So there's bits of hair and blood everywhere. And of course, the female sergeant, she wanted to.
How do you not laugh in that situation? That's got to be.
Well, you do. And let me finish the story, because the female sergeant wouldn't let the male cops go up and get this woman. She had to do it, and she went up and took a punch in the face, and she ended up going right down the stairs and hurting herself. And then, of course, I went right up there, and I just picked the lady up and threw her right down the stairs. I threw her down the stairs, cuffed her, and she was like wildly out of control. And I had to smack her because she's kicking me and punching me and trying to.
How did you do it? Did you do it classy backhand or closed-fisted?
I didn't want to. You know what? She's still a woman, even though she's crazy. You're stronger than her, but she just would not, let herself be put under control.
Let me interject just for a second. Let's just be honest for a second here. How fucking good must that feel when, for the first time in your life, you're allowed to hit a woman in the fucking face? And you're just finally allowed to be like, really? And just fucking really, finally, you're just like, fucking finally. A little fucking evening of the field here.
All human beings are the same. It's fun sometimes to hit anybody.
Right.
Especially if they're pissing you off or trying to hurt you. So, to make a long story short, with this woman, we get her to the Elmhurst psycho ward, and she's whispering something to the doctor when he's trying to talk to her. She's in a straitjacket. And the doctor leans over.
Clumps of hair,
and she says, the doctor's kind of, is there anything wrong with you? She said, she nods the doctor to look at me, and she says, he's crazy.
Oh, she said it about you?
Yeah. He's the crazy one. And I thought that was very perceptive of her, because it's true. And
I gotta admit, Lou, you got a look in your eye. I don't know what it is.
It works. It works. It's a good look. It's a deterrent. It's why I do what I do.
Was it something that you just became over years of seeing fucked up shit that you got the look, kind of like the 200-yard stare?
You become an actor. It's all pretend. It's really pretend. My wife will say, don't let anybody hear you talk. They'll know you're a teddy bear. Don't let anybody hear you talk. They'll know you're really nice. And, you know, I do security and bodyguard and protective and police work my whole life, so it's a lot of pretending.
I got to be honest with you. From the minute I heard you speak, I've been saying that to everybody. That man is a teddy bear.
I was going to go the other route. I'm not. You know what it is? Because you kind of came in. I never seen you in, like, daylight. I got to admit. I always see you down the club.
Sure.
You always look great down there.
And, of course, you know, looking the way I look.
Yeah, looking the way you look.
that works for me. That, you know, works for me. I know exactly what I look like. And, I do security at a comedy club, and I can use the way I look to help me.
Doing security at a comedy club as opposed to being a cop, do you feel like now, like you went from like the NBA to like the CBA? You know what I'm saying? It's like
no, absolutely not.
Competition a lot less.
It's a wonderful job. I get to meet you guys.
Right.
And although
is that a backhanded compliment?
It's a security. I try to guess who's gonna make the big time, and I suck up to them. And
security someday.
Which is why he hasn't been speaking to me that much at the club.
Well, you actually had an interesting thing happen the other night, because I know every once in a while somebody acts up down at the club, and what was it? The Last Comic Standing auditions were down there.
Yes.
And they basically was it during the day or was it at night? Where
it was auditions during the day. Mm-hmm. This guy, he started out sane. He was a comic, and the judges liked him in the beginning. They were going to, let him continue, but then he just got bizarre, and they actually got frightened. He just started
bizarre how?
Screaming, yelling, thrashing about, falling down, totally incoherent.
I think that's called out of material.
And of course they call me, and all I did was gently put my hand on his elbow, and he fell down like he was on fire. The whole thing's being filmed for television.
So this is going to be on Last Comic Standing.
So now I pick the guy up and I have him in a bear hug, and of course he can't get out. He's trying to, but each time he struggles, it's less of a chance.
It's like a boa constrictor.
He couldn't
keeps getting tighter.
He couldn't breathe. Every time he's trying to breathe, he couldn't breathe. So of course the cameras, they come right in with the cameras because it's great television, and I think they picked me up saying to the guy, "You're on live television, and your friends are going to witness you catching a beating from someone double your age." And then he calmed down.
So we can see this on Last Comic Standing.
Oh yeah, it's going. They made me sign this disclaimers right away. I hardly was done with putting the guy out onto the street, and the people were shoving the paperwork in my face to sign. Sign this.
Reality shows.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how much money would have had to give you just to put Ant into a chokehold for no good reason, just because I would just love to see it.
Well, he was actually afraid at a few points where he actually needed me to walk him into the green room, and at the
which is amazing, because you think if you act like a complete cocksucker to people and treat them like dog shit, you'd have no problems walking around a room.
Yeah, Joe kind of has issues with being judged by someone of the caliber of Ant.
And I'm speaking just for myself here. I'm not. My Joe DeRosa's views on Ant do not represent the views of Uninformed or XM Radio. Anyway,
they do represent the point of view of just about every comic.
Oh my God!
They all said
so you had to walk it. We're gonna play some pieces from this podcast later that I did, where I kind of tracked.
Yeah. We gotta let the audience know what's going on. Joe actually was one of the 43 or 4,400 people who went down and auditioned for Last Comic Standing, and Joe, I guess, didn't have a good experience. So much to the point that he spouted off in a podcast that can be heard on Cringe Humor.
CringeHumor.net.
He played
a 60-minute podcast.
He played 60 minutes. 60 minutes. He goes off on his 3-minute audition, and I'm listening to the thing. I thought it was gonna be like, and that Ant's a fucking cunt, and it isn't. He's speaking. He sounds like he's on Meet the Press. We're gonna play that a little bit later on in the show.
We should do before we go to that, we should do the Perfect Murder thing, because we thought it'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Billy and I were thinking of, we wanted you to sort of be a judge in this. We devised ways in which we would murder one another. and we try to come up with the perfect murder to execute on.
Yeah, because we're always watching these things on TV, and it's like the technology to capture somebody. It's almost like not even fair anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like watching the Yankees play the Pirates or something. You know, like with like the helicopters. Like, first of all, what percentage? Because when you watch like those A&E like murder mystery things, you know, and they look at somebody's the imprint of somebody's face in like a garbage bag, and they figure out that they've been like suffocated and stuff. Is it like what percentage of murder? If you watch that stuff, you feel like, oh my God, you could never get away with murder. But isn't the reality? I mean, how many of what percentage of murders do you think actually get solved?
The first thing the investigative body looks at is when they have a homicide is people close, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, neighbors, friends, and normally that's who you get killed by, someone you know.
Right.
If you guys are looking to do the perfect murder, you can't kill one another. You have to kill a random stranger, and then you'll never get caught.
Right.
If you can keep your mouth shut and you just kill a random...
Which is why I think my way of killing him is going to work, because I'm not going to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till I get to a level in this business, which might take, I don't know, 30 years, where I have such fanatical fans. And there's so many psychos on MySpace that I can somehow convince one of them through some sort of like mind trick that Joe DeRosa is out to get me. And it's just like the fucking Oswald thing. I'm gonna get a guy who's half fucking loony, and that's how you do it, right? And I'll get him or her to somehow kill Joe, and because you'll clearly be crazy, then I'll just be I have no fucking idea, you know.
Yeah, but wouldn't there be
that's pretty fleshed out, isn't it?
Wouldn't there be documents?
Any murder plan that just ends with you know? I mean, I think it's a pretty good indication you're gonna get caught.
But there would be accounts of you speaking to them about it.
I know, but I would only speak to him face to face.
That's what I'm saying. Then they could go to the police and go, he told me he wanted me to kill him.
And then I'd say, no, I'm not this person. No, I didn't. This person's crazy. I've never met them.
Why don't you just go, nuh-uh? That's the worst fucking defense I've ever heard. Nuh-uh.
Well, she can just say that she fucking talked to me, and then I say, no, you didn't. She doesn't have any fucking witnesses. That's basically what it is. You talked to me. No, I didn't.
Well, where are you going to talk to her? You got to meet her somewhere.
I'll meet her at a fucking show. Joe, this is fantasy. It's all working out in my head.
Mine's better.
Well, listen.
Oh wait, yeah, punch holes in his, or don't.
Well,
maybe it's good.
The direction I'm going is I'm finding somebody who's already half fucking crazy, which I think would kind of insulate me, wouldn't it? Because my whole defense can be like, I don't know what this person's talking about. They're fucking crazy. And I love Joe DeRosa. He was one of my favorite human beings on the planet.
I would think if you're going to kill somebody, first and foremost, never talk about it. So it's already too late.
Right.
You can't really kill him because you've talked about it.
I would never want to kill Joe. He's not.
But
he's not a threat to me on any level.
Yeah, we have to approach this as we have to approach this. What a dick, right? We have to approach this as if we're not talking about this right now.
Well, once again, looking the way you guys look, how important are the detectives on scene when they're looking at the way you look, lined in chalk, of course, at the crime scene?
Right.
How important are they going to deem, their investigation?
Were you one of the guys, like, as far as, like, the level of, like, your job at the police force, were you the guy going, get out of my crime scene, or were you the guy fucking up the crime scene?
But I was by the end of my career, I was a supervisor, and actually, I was in plain clothes for half of my career, but to be closer to home, I actually went back into the bag, back into uniform. And
the bag, why do they call it the bag?
I don't know, because it's a bag, I guess. I don't really know. It's just terminology.
The term they used, and
back
you
in
had
the
no
bag.
idea what it meant.
Yeah, back in the bag. And I guess after a while, uniform looks like a bag. It's kind of hanging off your body. You stop washing it. You just wear the same thing every day. You don't care. But
you're like the waiter that's been at the restaurant for too long.
And he looks at
don't write shit down anymore.
Yeah, well, before I retired, I was definitely there too long. But
how much pussy did you get as a cop?
Wait a sec. Hold on. Wait. We're getting way off the perfect murder thing here.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
The pussy's important. Let's get to that.
Yeah, let's get to the pussy.
I want to say how I'm going to murder you, though.
Okay, go ahead.
This is, all right. Caroline's Comedy Club.
All right.
Have you been there?
It's close to here.
There's a huge flight of steps going down to the club. Huge. If you fell down them, you'd be dead.
Not true. I saw Jimmy Martinez do it. But he had on a big winter coat.
Charles Walden fell down those steps, the crippled comic. And he's got cerebral palsy and he fell down the fucking steps. And Keith Robinson, like with Keith and Patrice took him to the hospital, and Keith's going, "God damn, Charles, you can't go walking around like you're normal. You got to be careful going down steps." So my plan is, Billy and I are going into Caroline's because we have a show together one day there, right? And as he steps down the first step, I throw marbles under his feet, and he falls down. I pick up the marbles. Billy fell down the steps.
What are you, in the Little Rascal?
It was a tragedy. He's dead.
First of all, his
That's
is stupid.
Flawless.
Dude, you're at the scene of the crime. You're an idiot.
Who's going to think I threw marbles down?
I don't
Nobody
know.
would ever guess
the
that.
lady sitting in the ticket booth at the top of the stairs?
It'll be a late show when that lady's not in the booth anymore.
Oh, okay.
On the 12:30.
Okay, and then Louie's there, and I roll down the stairs, and they hear of all the fucking marbles hitting the
Carpeted steps. There'd be no...
No, but there's wood paneling on the side, and marbles bounce. And don't tell me they don't, because I know they do.
Couple marbles, dude. Nobody would ever... Nobody... I think that's flawless.
Well, listen, Lou, you got to admit, if you want to get away with the murder, isn't it better to try to get somebody sort of anonymous to do it for you, to at least not put yourself at the scene?
No, you never add any people into it, ever.
Okay.
You do it. You don't talk about it. You just do it.
Okay, you do it, but do you
And
do
you
it?
leave-
Do
you
you
leave
do
the
it
bot-
at your place of work?
Well, if you decide to do it, I would never. No, but if you're going to kill somebody, they stay where you kill them. There's none of this transporting in your car, hiding the body, chopping the body up. If you kill it, it stays where it is, because then you have less chance of getting caught. They can't use scientific evidence against you either.
Right.
What if I went to the Grand Canyon with him, and it was just me and him out on the rim, and I pushed him over the edge? Would they be able to tell, like through forensics, he was pushed, he didn't fall?
No. But
Yeah, they would. They would have seen the scuff marks on my feet going,
no.
Joe, Joe, Joe!
Well, it depends on. It really depends on how good the detectives are interrogating you. If two very good New York City detectives would have interrogated OJ, and I could have been one of them, I know I could have got him to confess without laying a hand on him. Mm-hmm. It's just the cops out there seem to be in awe of the celeb affair, and they treated him like he was.
It's kind of like L.A. Comics.
Yeah.
They stink.
And, well,
Just like the
bottom
cops.
line is, they could have got this guy who was so distraught when he first got arrested. He would have confessed, and they didn't interrogate him the right way. They just let him get away with it.
You know, that's how I knew O.J. did it, because when they handcuffed him, he didn't look like a guy who just found out a woman he loved had been killed. And not only that, he was being charged with it. He looked like, oh, man, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah.
I would have said, OJ, you were my hero. I watched you run in the snow. 2,000 yards. Me, my dad, and my brother. We cried. That was the greatest thing to watch OJ running in the snow. What happened? She wouldn't let you go to the recital, and you got mad. God, my wife pisses me off so much. I want to kill her also. And I would have pet him. And he would have cried. I would have had him crying. He would have. I know every good New York City detective would have had that guy.
That's the way you would approach him.
Exactly.
Was that your general approach that you took with people? Or?
Well, I knew he did it from the moment I heard. I knew he did it, and everybody knows he did it. Even like the black community starting to think that way. Also, you hear it in their sentiment that this is how they believe now. In the beginning, of course, because the detective there used the N-word. I think his name is
Furman.
Furman,
that tends to throw a wrench in your case when you're
can't-
trying to convict a black guy and the other guy's every other word out of his mouth, and he's not rapping. Is the N-word.
And you know what? And it's a college-educated guy, a good-looking guy, a smart guy, who in selected circles is using the N-word, which everyone does anyway. In selected circles we do, sneak in that word. We all do it. And I really do believe that good New York City detective could have got OJ.
You're saying we all do what? Cops all do it? Is what you're saying, or people?
People.
I don't know.
I kind of hate.
Kind of out of that circle.
You know what? I'm sick of the word. I hate the word. I'm retired for 6 years now, so I don't hear it as much as I did. And I don't really like the word. It's just we should do something about it. I just don't like it.
I think it's more. I think.
All right, you know what? We're gonna have to take a break here, and we'll be back with more cop talk with Lou Talano Jr.
Yeah, and we're also going to do the spelling bee, right?
Yep, spelling
With
bee's
Lou?
coming up later.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great, Joe. Thanks for making a nice, smooth transition and fucking it up. Yeah, we're also going to do something else in fucking an hour.
I thought we
that
were
really didn't need to be brought up now.
I thought we were.
You're listening to Uninformed and Stammering Joe DeRosa.
We'll be right back with some choice cuts from the motherfucking Uninformed mixtape. Uninformed.
It's Uninformed with Bill Burr and Joe DeRosa.
Lou is literally telling us stories like during the break, like Buddy Hackett in the old Carson days, just telling us great stories. Lou, we got to have you back, but before you go, we always have to demonstrate to our fans what fucking idiots we are. And I just realized lately, what a bad speller I am, and I've been giving Joe such shit of how he can't pick out Mississippi on a map that we're actually going to have a spelling bee.
Yeah.
We figured, why not keep you around, a guy who actually had the legal right to shoot somebody and punch a woman in the face and throw her down the stairs.
Well, all of us really have that right, depending on the scenario. Everybody in this room has the right to do that, depending on the scenario.
I have one question: when?
Yeah. I'd like to know.
When can I
want the list of scenarios in a pamphlet that I can carry out of my wallet.
Yeah. At what moment on the date that's not going well do I know that I can actually throw the girl down a flight of stairs?
I think when she goes, I thought we were just friends.
Well, I think...
no, when she goes, Olive Garden?
You remember the Bobbits, of course, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's your scenario. The girl cuts your cock off and you slap her.
I think
Jesus Christ, yeah. You know what? Then I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to hit a woman. I just think it's like in a Three Stooges way. It's kind of funny.
But if that's how far you got to go, I mean, that's the last thing I'd be thinking of if my cock is laying in a field somewhere.
Listen, you should never hit a woman, but if you see it, you got to admit there's a part of it that's kind of funny.
Thanks, McGruff.
Oh, you know what? I've just lately people just been coming at me just saying, you fucking hate women, you blah blah. I just more say shit because I just think the
especially if the woman is Paris Hilton.
Nobody thinks you should.
Oh, yeah,
hit
there
a
you
woman.
go.
There you go. No, everyone would love that.
You probably hurt your hand. She's so bony. All right, let's get on with the. I guess Danny Boy is coming up with the list of words that are commonly used words that you actually try to impress people, and maybe could actually get you laid if a girl's into an intelligent person, but you can't even fucking spell the word.
I'm making a prediction right now because I know that you're a shit speller. That this is where I'll redeem myself because with the map bullshit. That this is where I'll show that I.
Yeah, but I have an excuse why I'm such a bad speller. Before we even get into it.
What?
It was the system, man.
I was lost in the system, man.
No, this is what happened. They start teaching you how to read and write, in first grade, second grade, third grade. So I'd learned all these words. They were fresh in my head, okay? New knowledge, okay? And in fourth grade, for some reason, they stopped teaching us how to spell the words that they taught us. They wanted to teach us how to spell them phonetically. So all of a sudden they were teaching us, cat, C-A-T, was now K-A-T. And you had to learn all these words that you just got in your head. You had to learn how to spell them phonetically. So that mismatch of shit was in my head, and I never fucking recovered because after fifth grade, you don't have spelling anymore.
Goofy fucking school did you go to when they did that?
I don't know. It was stupid. Dude, I went to in the early 70s. They're giving us Tang because the astronauts were drinking it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So that's my excuse. That's like if you taught some kid 2 + 2 is 4, and the next year you're like, it's 5. It's 5, and then you just got that.
Well, they did that in my school. They burned all the maps one year. I don't know why. They just did that, and they said
you're not a good liar, Joe. I can. You know what? I'm going to use Lou's word here. I can fucking look into.
I'll never forget. I went in first day of third grade, and there was a fire, and it was all maps, and the teacher was going, "These maps are cunts."
You should have gone with someone who beat you with a globe.
That's a Dave Attell joke.
Is it?
Yeah. I hate to travel because my father used to beat me with a globe.
Oh. All right, Carlos been singing me. All right.